The 10 plagues refers to the biblical story of the 10 plagues of Egypt, which were sent by God to persuade Pharaoh to release the Israelites from slavery. These events are recorded in the book of Exodus, and each plague became progressively worse, showcasing God's power and judgment. Below is a brief summary of each of the 10 plagues. 1. Water turned to blood. The Nile River, which was central to Egypt's life, turned into blood, killing fish and making the water undrinkable. This first plague challenged Egypt's reliance on the Nile for sustenance. 2. Frogs. Frogs overran the land, entering houses, and even people's beds. This was a sign of God's dominance over Egypt's gods, some of which were represented by amphibians. 3. Gnats or lice. The dust of the ground turned into gnats or lice, infesting people and animals. This plague humiliated Egypt, as their priests could not replicate this sign. 4. Flies. Swarms of flies filled Egypt, particularly targeting the homes and land of the Egyptians, sparing the Israelites. It emphasized the separation between Egypt and Israel in God's eyes. 5. Death of livestock. A plague caused the death of Egypt's livestock, including horses, donkeys, and cattle. This weakened Egypt's economy and was a direct blow to their agricultural society. 6. Boils. Painful boils broke out on humans and animals, causing widespread suffering. The Egyptian priests, who were unable to heal or help, were also affected. 7. Hail. A devastating storm of hail and fire struck Egypt, destroying crops and trees. This plague devastated the nation's food supply, challenging Egypt's agricultural economy. 8. Locusts. Locusts descended on Egypt and consumed any remaining crops. This plague led to near-total devastation of the food supply. 9. Darkness. A thick, oppressive darkness covered Egypt for 3 days. The only light was where the Israelites lived, emphasizing God's control over the natural world. 10. Death of the firstborn. The final and most tragic plague killed all firstborns in Egypt, both human and animal. This was the most direct punishment and forced Pharaoh to finally release the Israelites. The 10 plagues were not just punishments, but also signs to the Egyptians and the Israelites of God's supremacy and his desire to deliver his people from oppression. Each plague demonstrated God's power over nature, the gods of Egypt, and even death itself.